Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, entitled Transcendental Knowledge, text 4.39. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitra miha vidyate tat swayam yoga sansiddhi kale natmani vidanti. Translation and purport by His Divine Swami Prabhupada. In this world there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruvenu Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dadamana Sabdhatu Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Padakamalam Sri Guru Vishnu Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivendata Swami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshitam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay. So I welcome you all for today's special Sunday feast. So every Sunday we have a special program here. So I welcome all that you have taken out your valuable time. Especially Mr. Bhatt has come from long place. It's nice to see him after a long time. And all the assembled. So Mataji has ordered me to speak something. So we just to follow order and like to speak.
Don't take it as well. Take it as my request.
Yeah, so the topic entitled was Vedic Wisdom, a need of 21st century. That was. So why it is a need, normally that's what we are trying to stress, that this is a normal question people ask, that is there a need to go to temple? Do you need something like a temple? So let's make it more interactive. I'll just like to hear some responses from audience so that we can make it more interactive than just I am speaking. So if you speak of a college, university, so if I ask a simple question, do we need universities? Yes, James Bro?
Yeah.
Do we need universities? University for education.
Yeah, education.
Do we need that? We do need the university. Answer is yes. Nobody will say that we don't need colleges. We need, because we need to educate people. Secondly, if we ask that, do we need hospitals? So, of course, people are getting sick. We need hospitals. But when it comes, do we need some center or temple to worship? That's a big question mark. So we can say it depends on situation. Nobody, like in Koreans, maybe. That may be one of the answers. People say maybe, not sure. So we'll just try to see if, and it's very interesting, if you see a Vedic culture, the whole Vedic culture is based as center as a temple. If you go to Tirupati or Srirangam, it's a huge temple. It's so huge, like our Seoul Tower. It's like a temple at Seoul Tower, and anything going there, everybody around know, oh, there is something going on. So people are always conscious oh, there is something going on there. So obviously when you speak of temple, they think of Lord. So I like to start with a very interesting scientific study made by one scientist named Dr. Bohr. He studied all the creatures on the earth for 20 years. He is a biological scientist. He studied all the living entities and he came up with a very amazing discovery. In his discovery, am I audible? Okay. Yeah. So, in his discovery, he came out with a very wonderful thing. He said, if we take out all the human beings from the earth, how many people we have on the earth? 6 billion people. So all the human beings are transferred to other planet. There is not even a single human being on Earth's planet. Maybe transferred to moon. It's a situation. So in that situation, what will happen? In that situation, all the pollutions will go down. The water pollution, the soil pollution, the air pollution, all the disturbances. We always think of this pollution, that pollution, it will all come down and things will set to a natural state where it was. Like in US we have now different standard of the pollution. They want to reduce the CO2 emission, and that's why there is a fund of carbon credits. So they want to, it's very interesting, they want to purchase carbon credit where there is a less pollution so that they can make pollution and they can settle their account because there is a regulation. Otherwise you have to close down the company. But he said, on contrary, if you touch any living entity beside human being, even ant, there is a whole chaos in the whole ecology. Like we all know, there is a dependent system, there is an ecological system. So the whole system will break down even if you touch one living entity beside human being. So in 1970s, there was one special dish somebody made in UK. It was made out of frog. And somehow people started liking it. So it became so famous that there was a huge demand for frogs. Now from the other side of country, they were importing frogs. So a lot of frogs were imported from India. And people are so happy. You get frog everywhere. So it's a good business. And there was a good money for frog. So they started just exporting it. And what happened? The population of frogs went down. And they realized, oh my God, the mosquito population immediately just shoot up. The mosquitoes became uncontrollable. And there was all diseases, the malaria and other thing, typhoid. It was a big problem. Once in 1970s in Europe there was some disease and they found out the problem is in cat. So they said kill all the cats. And they found out, my God, the disease is increasing again, more than it was before. And they found out, my God, this was not cat, it was rat. So they kill all the cats now. So no cat to control the rat. So the point I'm making, the point he made, that even if you touch another animal, any human, any living species beside human being, the whole cycle is disturbed. So now it makes us think, ecologically, we don't have any role to play in ecology. As a human being, we don't contribute anything to ecology. Our value is zero to ecology. That's what the discovery was. But we are the people who are the most intelligent guys on the earth. So then it's a natural question, then what is that speciality human being has? We are just troubling Mother Earth in that sense by contributing to pollution. But Bhagavad Gita explains that this is a human birth is like a junction. Now from this junction we decide to go up, to go down. So this is a very important junction. So it's very clear now that human birth is very, very special. Now from this discovery, it makes us think, what is that speciality we have? Okay, so to go ahead, I'll just narrate a small story and then we'll go ahead with the main topic. Once the 4 guys from India, from a village, they got a lottery. And the prize was a 4-day picnic to New York. So they had never been out of India. They're very happy. So they said, let's go. Did not know English. But they said, anyway, we got it. And it's a free ticket and the stay for 4 days. They arranged some money and they went. Somehow they get through the airport checking and they got in the New York. Somehow communicated, somehow went to hotel. And they have been given a residence on 100th floor. So they said, wow, this is amazing. I can like a Seoul tower, I can see everything now from here. Now the 4 guys, they decided that we will go in 4 directions. We don't go together. And when we come back in the home in the night, we'll discuss our experiences, how everybody enjoyed. So they came back. They reached at the reception desk. And somehow the lift was not working. So they said, now there was some technical problem. They said, what to do with lift? They waited for some time, but the lift did not move. So they decided, we are young guys. So what we'll do now, we want to share our experiences. So let's go walking. We have walked miles in our village. This is not a big deal. Let's go up. So they said, okay. So they started sharing their experiences with each other and they started going up one by one floor. They realized, they come up to 80th floor, they realized that one guy, only 3 were speaking. They're very happy. We enjoyed this way, we went here and this and that. The one guy was just silent. So they reached 19th floor. Still he was not speaking anything. And these 3 guys, so he said, what's happened to you? Why you're not speaking? You also went to a city, correct? He said, yes. But he said, my experience is very bad. So really? He said, you won't be able to handle my experience. They said, no problem, please share. It won't be that bad. So he said, okay. So they went now to 95th floor. He said, actually, I have forgotten to take the key to our room, which is down in the reception counter. So this is a very funny story, but if you see your lives is going same way, we are going from 1G to 2G to 3G to 4G. We can talk to a person across the globe, but we have difficulty connecting to a neighbor. So we have made our lives opulent, comfortable with the facilities. But at the same time, people are more empty-hearted. They are more frustrated. If we see the number of crimes, number of wars, they are increasing. So it means that we are going very ahead, very speedily, but we have to check whether we are going in the right direction. So once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, why you are using cars and laptop and everything? You are a spiritual guy, why do you need all this? So he gave a very wonderful answer. He said, people are going in a very high-speed car into a ditch. Now I know he is going into a ditch. And if I go with a bullock cart, I won't be able to save him. So I need a car which is faster than his car, so that I can overcome it. I can tell him, stop, there's a ditch. Please take a U-turn. So he said, we are not using it just to show off people. That's what we feel happy when we somewhat say, oh, what a car it is. If nobody is just looking at the car, nobody praises your car, then you don't feel good. So only somebody say, oh, it's very good. Then you feel happiness. So Prabhupada says that So even we devotees, they use all the latest facilities, but to go with the speed of the people, so they tell them that, oh, you're going in the wrong direction. Okay, so we'll come back to our main topic. So it's very normal question. People ask that, Miss temple means why we need such a big temple? Take a small temple. Why big temple? So start with the answer with Prabhupada. He gave a very wonderful answer when he was constructing a Jew temple, Jew Iskcon. So he went to Pune for fundraising, and he had an assembly of people there. So they said, Swamiji, there are so many temples, why you need one more? And why to spend so much? So he gave a very wonderful answer. So it's very, very instructive. Because he said that money can be used for feeding poor, lot of things. So it's very important. And everybody has somewhere this question that, do we really need something like this? So let's try to discuss, get some deeper understanding. So Prabhupada gave a very nice answer. He asked, there was a friend of Mr. Birla. So he said that, it's just an example, that you know Mr. Birla, correct? He said, yes. And you know his family. So it should not happen, let's say that one of his son, he just rebelled. He took money and he just went away from him. And now he just went into drugs and everything, and he got bankrupt. And he's on a street. And you happen to, the first person who knows Mr. Birla, he happened to pass by. And he saw, oh, this is a son of Mr. Birla. So he said, oh, what are you doing here? So he said, uncle, I need money. So he saw his tattered clothes and he's just into a very shabby condition. So he took him to hotel, fed him nicely, gave him some money and went away. A second friend of Mr. Birla, he also passed by and he saw, oh, he's a son of Mr. Birla. He said, what are you doing here? So this money what was given by first person, he went for some time and again he is on street. Again without food and same condition. So next guy said, what is this? So he gave him some food and some clothes, and again he also went. The third guy who was, so that also went for some time and again he went. The third guy, he came and he said, oh, he's a son of my friend. So he said, what are you doing here? So he said, let's sit in my car. And this guy, he gave him food, he gave him a clothes, and he asked him that your father is waiting for you. And he told him that how your father is missing you a lot. And this person, he is also suffering. And he realized that I did a mistake. He made him realize that you can be happy because your father is so rich. Once you go there, you need not to beg for the small things. And he took him back to Mr. Birla. And before going, he just called him. He said, oh, he's ready to come. I am there, I am coming. So he came to receive him. And it was a grand reception when the son comes back. So Prabhupada explained that our conditions is like that. We have left our richest father. And we have come here and we are suffering. And we are asking for some help. So there are three categories of people. Now first personality, he helped him with the food. The other personality helped him with the clothes that is required. Basic necessities of life. But what is the best help? So do you all agree that the third person did the best help? Though he took care of the basic necessities of the person, but he did an important job of connecting the person back to his father. Now when this son went back to his father, then he has the whole opulence of his father. There is nothing to beg. And he can never earn the money which Mr. Birla has by his own endeavor. So Prabhupada explained that our father Krishna, we have left him and we are suffering here. But the best thing is, we need to give knowledge that who is our Father and how rich He is, and He is a person who can satisfy us fully. Once we back to Him, there is nothing to worry. But the problem is, and to give that knowledge, to give that experience, we need a temple. And then he was successful in. So it's very logical that we are suffering here, but once we realize that I have my Father. I just remember a very nice example. Once Prabhupada's son was there in the train, they were going somewhere, and his TC was his friend, a small child. And he knew he's Prabhupada's child. So he said, "Where is your ticket?" A small kid. He said, "I don't have ticket." He said, "You don't have ticket? Get down of train." Small kid. So he looked at him. He said, "My father is there. Ask him." It's amazing, is it? A son is afraid. Just imagine a son is going without a father and somebody asks, "Where's the ticket?" He'll be shocked. But he knows my father is there, he will take it. So he is without anxiety. He doesn't have any anxiety. So it's very important to get a knowledge of Father and the way to get him back. So now there are a lot of different needs in society. There is need for medical care, there is need for education. Like every urge has a fulfillment. Like our urges is, we have an urge of eating, drinking. So why there is a food? Because there is an urge. Why there is any liquid to drink? Because there is an urge of thirst. So every urge has a fulfillment. So there is also a need of mental peace. That is also an urge. It is not a luxury, it is a requirement. When we are carrying out all our material duties, so it's like carrying out 50 kg of weight every day. So we need some break to regenerate ourselves. Like we need a sleep because we're tired whole day. You take a 6-hour sleep, regenerate yourself, and then you're ready. So when we are carrying out different duties, a mental peace is one of the very important aspect of life, which is not offered by any medical instrument or medicine. So temple cater to that particular need. And it's very important. We see, you just go out of temple, the whole thing changes. You just come inside temple, you feel an atmosphere which is very peaceful, and there is a name of God is there. So the atmosphere is in different realm itself. So you can feel the change. There is a very small creature in the sea. It is called as barnacle. Now if the ship is there in the sea, it is a very small creature. It is moving as well as non-moving. So it just stick to a bottom of the ship. And if ship is not removed, let's say ship is just staying there for 3 to 4 months, then gradually this barnacle increases. It grew and grew to a large size. Now if you just take the ship without removing the barnacle, it is so big that you can sink the ship. Now you have to remove it. Now the problem is, it survives on salty water. So it's very difficult to remove that particular creature in the salty water. But remedy is, it cannot stand sweet water. So if you want to remove it with some mechanical thing, it's very, very tough. So what you do, you just take a sweet water and just connect, and it will immediately leave the ship. So we have these small barnacles of greed, lust. It's very small. But as we stay in an atmosphere which is polluted by all the wrong tendencies, it starts increasing. That's why see, doctor says, go to a village side where there is a peaceful atmosphere, out of city. So it cannot stand the peaceful atmosphere. And we feel light, correct? When we go outside, we feel serene, we feel comfortable compared to city, isn't it? Everybody has experienced it. So when we go out, 2-day vacation, we feel heart is light and nice. And the same experience, we need not to go far away. We just come to a temple where the same pure atmosphere is available. And when we come out, all these small barnacles, it will just go away and you feel light, rejuvenated with the energy. So one of the need temple caters is the peace of mind. The second important need it caters is education. Unfortunately, we only know how to make things work. All our modern education only tells you how things work. The whole mechanism and everything is maybe a biological system or mechanical system, but it doesn't tell you why it should work. And that creates the whole chaos. Like just a simple example, but you can say we can just tell them be good. The question arises that it's okay. So in that case, we can just have some lectures on morality. You should be good, do good, and that's it. But morality doesn't stand on itself. It needs a particular stand. Only when you have a spiritual connection, then it can go nicely. This example is given that there is a street laws. So we can say as a good citizen we can follow the laws. But then the problem with laws, if you only know if there's a green you have to go and red you have to stop. So if you know only this, how the signal work, then you feel it as a abstraction. I have to stop. It's not good. When there's a red I have to stop. This is just a technical knowledge. But once you understand, oh, this is there for functioning of society properly. And when we speak of a border perspective, we lovingly stop when it is red. Even nobody on the street, you don't break the laws. Otherwise, we many times succumb. Like there's a lot of examples where the moral people they succumb. Also, it's okay sometimes. But spirituality gives you a deeper understanding that you are not the body, but you are a spirit soul. And there is a consequence. If you do something, there is a reaction. And then you understand, oh my God, it's very important. Like we see in the villages, people are so nice that you could just keep your door open. Even in Korea, I think it would be there. They can, even today, if you just close your door whole day, people think, what is this? Nobody has this door open, closed, it's just open. Everybody is doing their work and they have strong faith that nobody will come and pick up the things and steal it away. That was the culture. But now, even somebody is there, if you call, he will ask, who are you? And then only if he confirm, then only he can open the door. Otherwise, nobody will open the door. That's the situation. People are so fearful. There is no faith on other person, what he will do. So we can see a Vedic culture. A culture there was a faith, and because of that, people could go nicely together. And there's such a faith that, and everybody knows laws of karma. Everybody knows if you do bad, the bad will come to you. And they had a strong faith and realization. But now that concept has gone. So it's very important to give that education to people. And the best education, the spiritual part is, it says that the goal of life. What is the goal? This is the one level of it. A second level, it gives you the highest goal of life. What is the purpose of life? So as we discussed, the point that what is the value to human life? We don't have any contribution to ecology. What makes us very special? Because in the human birth, we can think what is the goal of life. Have you ever seen a dog thinking and what is the goal of life? Where should I go? Maybe just looking at stars and counting the stars. No. They do not come with the society of dogs to rebel. These human beings are doing a lot of trouble to us. No, they can think. We cannot say that, oh, dog doesn't think, cat doesn't think. They do. You know, if the milk has come, cat knows now it is on a gas, it is getting boiled, I should not go near. She has a very good perception. And she knows after 2 hours it will be calm, and only after that she will find it out nicely. She never goes when it is hot, when it just arrived. So animals have intelligence. But their intelligence is only limited to 4 things: eating, sleeping, enjoyment, and defend. But as a human being, we have a higher intelligence and we can think to a higher level. So temple caters a need of education, which teaches a very important thing: what is the goal of life. And Bhagavad Gita explains that goal of life is to love God. Now what is the advantage of this knowledge? When we come to this conclusion that goal of life is to love God, then we see that everybody is a son and daughters of the same father. And then there is a service attitude. See, this is very wonderful. If there is a big family, we can only love everybody. It's very difficult to love somebody and hate somebody. If everybody is a part of same family, we don't hate somebody. You get it? Somebody is North Korea is hating for South Korea just because they see I am from South Korea, he's from North Korea. It's just because this like a generation, it just happened to born there, they have it. No reason. Everywhere is just an example. So if you see the God is everybody's father, so that understanding will help us to serve each other and cooperate. It is such a wonderful. So that's why Prabhupada made a temple. It's just not come and take a darshan. That's very good. But one of the purpose of temple is to give a knowledge of loving God. And that's so wonderful. We can just imagine that everybody is just in a mood of serving each other, considering each other a brother and sister, a family member. The world will become such a nice place. But it is only problem because we see there is a single connection. When you see a connection, it's very easy to love each other. So the problem today is we identify ourselves with different religion or something, but the goal of everything is love God. There's no contradiction. If everybody understand, everybody can cooperate each other very nicely. Now one of the other need which temple cater is treating a disease. Now everybody is aware that the biggest disease of 21st century is the stress, the mental disease. And the root cause of mental disease is, anybody can say what is the root cause of disease? A mental disease basically. We have 6 wrong tendencies: greed, lust, anger, pride, envy. And if you see, all the problems are because of this. Now we see how much money Indians have in Swiss bank. It is a large amount of money. We have like 100 crores people. If all the money comes back, every Indian can get 1 lakh rupee. It's like 2 million won. So every Indian, 100 crores people can get 2 million won. That's that much amount of money. A black money is there in Swiss bank. So what is the indication? This is the indication of greed. People have so much greed to just collect. Because they don't have knowledge that everybody is son of God. You just think of me. I am just thinking of me. I don't think of other. Just keep on accumulating. So one way we can think, if everybody have a natural education, a spiritual education, then everybody think of, oh, I have to do something for my brothers, my sisters. and nobody want to just accumulate for me. Just getting? So that can solve a problem of, it can feed 10 times the people than people on earth. So another example, yeah, so I'll just clear this point, just come. That there is just, when something, a very huge temple is erected and then built, and then some huge festival is there, people say, why you're spending so much? Is it like that because of this spending people are striving? There are also people striving because of, if you see a rich guys, they spend millions of rupees on their garments, the perfumes and houses, and there are even people who are striving outside the mansion. So nobody object why they are spending so much, isn't it? And it is explained that there is a study, if there's a 1 hectare of land, if you grow a meat on that, you can grow X kg of meat. But if you grow a grain on that, it can grow 100x of grain, 100x kg. So the same land, if it is utilized for grain, it can grow 100 times, at least 10 times more grains, which can cater 10 times more people. Are you getting the point? So the people who say that there is a problem with a big expenditure in temple, they don't object the people who are eating meat because they want to enjoy. So if now on contrary, temple, we give them a knowledge that you become vegetarian. So if the whole world become vegetarian, we will have 10 times more grains than a people to feed. So that can really solve the problem. Same with the drugs and other thing. It's very amazing. I'll just give an example that how the chanting Hare Krishna. So it can cure the disease. It is like a second part, a temple caters a need of as a medical or a hospital. I'll just discuss few examples how it has catered the need of people. I know one personal example in Bombay. There was one devotee's father, he was a chain smoker. Used to at least have 5 packs a day. Chain smoker. So whole family was saying how to get him out of it. And then somehow they took him to a cancer hospital and he saw how the people are suffering. And he's taken aback. Oh my God, it's so painful. And he came back, he said, from tomorrow, stop, nothing doing. And he did stop for 8 days. After that he started. People said, what is this? He said, oh, marna hi hai ek din. To maja karke mare. Control nahi ho raha hai. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's not easy. To give up a habit is not easy. And somehow this guy started coming to temple. And in every Sunday there is a very special prasadam like Mataji makes. It's a special khichadi every Sunday morning. So he used to come for Bhagavatam class. I don't know how much he would relish and understand the Bhagavatam, but he would take prasadam regularly. And over a period of 6 months, he left smoking. And everybody was amazed how this guy left smoking. Now if you just calculate in terms of money, the money he is spending for cigarettes now is donating to temple. Very simple. Prabhupada says that they are spending so much on removing the addiction of people. Millions of dollars. And Srila Prabhupada is a person who get people rid of the habits. The Iskcon has, if you know, there is a prison ministry. There is a prison ministry run by Iskcon where devotees, they preach to prisoners. And there are a lot of stories where prisoners, by chanting, they could get out of their evil habits. I'll just tell you one story I know from US. This guy, he was a serial murderer. There's a few murders and the police was behind him. He said, where to go now? So he said, these guys are good. So he came in one of the Iskcon temple. He shaved and he said, I want to stay here. And he started following everything. Getting up 4 o'clock and chanting. Though he was pretending, because he just wanted to get away with the police. And over a period of time, in 1 year, he got so purified. He went to a temple president and he said, I was just making a show, but now I want to become a devotee. Please protect us. So he said, tell me who are you? I don't know. So he narrated the whole thing. And the temple president said, you go to police, reveal everything. And he went. He went to police and they were shocked. They could not identify the same person, but they took out the old files and they said, oh, he's the same guy. And they released him because they said, you just give us a contact of all the details of your team. He said, okay. And he was released. So there's a lot of example where people, there's one devotee, he was also a thief. He just came in the temple in Bombay, and after 6 months, he said, now I have to just give up everything. And then he was taken to judge, and judge asked him, okay, by the way, tell me what you're doing this 6 months. He said, I used to get up 4 o'clock, there's a Mangalarti, there's a Japa, and there's services, and whole schedule is said. So he said, my God, this is worse than our jail. So you are relieved. This is just to say, but the people are purified just by chanting holy name. It indicates that it's such a powerful thing because Krishna and his name is not different. That's why he's God. God means absolute. Anything with respect to God is complete. Like if I'm thirsty and I just chant water, 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 can I quench my thirst? No. Because water as a substance and water as a name are two different things. But Krishna and his name is not different. They are same. So when you chant his name, you are associating with most purest person. So gradually heart is getting clean and you get purified. So it has such a, like we know the example of Srila Prabhupada when he went to US. These hippies were doing all nonsense. And he said, okay, you take this medicine. So when they took a medicine, chanting of Hare Krishna, they got such a pure hearted, all the malice, all the wrong tendencies are removed. So this is an amazing process. In Delhi, in temple, one of the reporter, he asked the president, just tell me what you are doing for the people who take drugs and everything. How are you helping them? He said, see, we are giving people knowledge, and through that we are convincing them, and they are realizing that they should not drink, they should not do any of the wrong things. So before the person getting addicted, we are engaging him in doing good things, isn't it? So we are proactive. Instead of acting on person after he does it, we are just proactively asking him to be good. That makes sense. And even somebody is addicted. So if you just think of this, if everybody takes to Krishna consciousness, then all the amount of money government has to spend on jail, on removing the drug addiction, and many more things will be taken care of. And there's a lot of money which is spent in entertainment. Correct? There's a need for entertainment. And even that is not catering to a real entertainment, it is just on a bodily level. But in temple, it is catering to a real entertainment on a spiritual level, which can make us more happy, more content. Now after this, the question comes that a happiness you get in a temple is a sentimental. Somebody will say, it's a sentimental. It's a sentimental belief that when you come to temple, you get a happiness. Now if you see on the other hand, drinking liquor you get happiness, it is also a sentiment. And it is more dangerous sentiment than this sentiment. It is not good for you and the society. Somebody smokes and you say, oh, it's so cool. You're putting fire in and you say it is so cool. It's a sentiment. So it's better to have a positive sentiment. And it is real. It is not sentiment. You can see the effect. I can tell you so many people who have just are so happy. Even for me, I'll tell you. For my personal example, I used to watch the adventurous movie, not the other thing, but always you're thinking of, oh my God, this movie has come, so I should go, this and that. Always, when you see, you're just looking at things. But when you get some higher understanding of life, you get a higher joy, when you leave that thing, you feel so happy. When you say, oh, I was so morose I was just getting attached to a particular thing. So it's very amazing that this understanding gives us what is a real happiness. And Krishna says the real happiness is when you connect to Him. So yesterday we were just discussing, it's this way. There is a soldier and he has been ordered, he is in a war and he killed 100 soldiers single-handedly. And he is awarded for a Paramvir Chakra, a very special medal. And now he has been given a break. He comes to home and the village guys are so happy. Oh, he's a hero of our village. And he's awarded and there's a big function. And everybody is so happy that, oh, this guy is the medal winner. And after the function, somebody asked him, hey, how did you kill so many guys? He just took out the gun, shoot this guy. And he's arrested. And he's in prison. So is that an injustice? He said, what is this? On the border, I killed 100 guys and you are giving medal for it. And I killed guys who knows how to fight, how to shoot. And here I just killed one useless guy and you are punishing me. What is this? So is that correct? What do you think? Is that correct? Or is it wrong? It's correct. Now what is the difference? When he want to kill 100 guys, he is just killing it not for him. He is being ordered by government. You shoot. And that's why all the good or bad what is coming is taken by government and he is rewarded for that. On the other hand, he is just killing one stupid guy. But he is punished for that. Because nobody ordered him that. He is just doing his own thing. So it's very simple. So if you just do something in accordance with instruction of Krishna, then you will be rewarded. And if we do something on our own accord, then we have to take it. It's a very simple principle. So like every machine has a manual how to work, how it works. So Bhagavad Gita is a manual for this machine, and Krishna says how it works, what is the purpose of it, and if you use it, and how to use it, what is the goal, what is the purpose of it. Only the manufacturer can tell us what is the purpose of it. If we use a US television in India without knowing that it is working for 110 volt and we do need a transformer, it will just give a Diwali bang, boom. Because it did not read the instruction. It is not made for 110, it is for 120 volt to 220 volt. Same in Korea. Correct? Simple. So it's very important to read the instruction and then we go as per instruction manual and we can be happy. So I'll just conclude with, we'll just try to recap what we mentioned. So we started with that the question is there is a need for universities, there is a need for hospitals, is there a need for temple? So we said yes, there is a need for temple. So it caters 3 needs we discussed. There are more, but we could only discuss 3. One is it caters need of mental peace, which is a necessity, not a luxury, which is very rare to achieve nowadays. But in temple, when you come, you can easily achieve the necessity of mental peace, which will give us a strength to fight out against all the odd. Second, we discuss that temple act as an education system which inspires us to be moral, and more important, it tells us that the goal of life is to love God. And what is the advantage of that? When we try to love God, we see every living entities as a part and parcel of Krishna, and then we love everybody. And society becomes a society where everybody tries to serve each other, not to exploit. And third, we discuss it cater the need of hospitals for mental disease. And how does it cater? By chanting Hare Krishna, it removes all the wrong tendencies. So we can save a lot of money by just purifying the heart of people, which will save a lot of money, and people can become more happy and world can be a better place. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.